Let's just do a quick redo of this. So, which of the following countries is located outside the Caribbean Sea?
Barbados.
A lie. Hold on. Which of the following indigenous groups did not settle in the pre-Columbian
Maya.
Caribbean? The Mayas.
Incas.
Incas.
Oh yeah, for real. The Incas. I'm
Yes,
so
sir.
sorry. I
Sir,
didn't see it.
you yourself said that they settled in South America.
Listen to me. It's because me not perfect. Alright? Me not perfect. My eyes them just move. Question, guys. Do I have permission to just mark it if you repeat? If you repeat? Because if you repeat, me not
Yes.
doing it. Alright?
Yes, yes.
Hold on, let me let in this person first. Oh wow, I just let in the person, therefore them never asked the question them before.
Sir,
Wow.
but the Mayas did not settle in the Caribbean either.
Technically they did based off of the geographical definition of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Touched by the Caribbean Sea. So they settled in nowadays Belize. Belize is a part of the Caribbean, right? Mexico is technically a part of the Caribbean through the geographical definition as well. So I think that would be a part of it. But Inca is definitely out. Inca not depend on the plate. Inca not depend no there on the Caribbean Sea. Inca not really not about historical things because slavery happened in Chile, so in Peru, sorry. But yeah, that's there. So Julia, remittance, this is genocide. Which of the following aspects of Caribbean culture is least certain by this repeat as well?
Driving habits.
Yep. Yes. Alright. So it's to become with the all of them already. These all repeat.
Right.
This never repeats. So let's just have a look at this. So the tectonic plates labeled X and Y respectively are
A.
Cocos
Cocos and Nazca.
Why is it not Nazca than Cocos?
Sir, because Nazca is closer to South America than Cocos.
Alright, we have that there. Alright, so the following definitions best describe the El Nino weather phenomenon.
Sir, C. Periodic upwelling of warm water off the coast of Peru, which displaces cold currents. You can look it up on Google if you're not sure.
Yes, sir. You can Google it.
No, I had it, man. Has to be C. Well, C is most likely the answer. Let me just check everything else. Calming, nope. Systematic, nope. Cooler temperatures in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of South America. Cooler than normal sea temperatures off the Pacific coast of South America.
That one, sir, that one would be the one that affects Australia, I think.
Yeah, Nina, right? There's a different one. Alright. Okay, so 11. Which of the following family types was introduced into the Caribbean? We saw it with extended. Here we see matrifocal. This doesn't specify hillside. So what are we gonna put for it?
Question.
Crop rotation.
Crop rotation.
Go ahead. You have a question?
We can do 2022 after. Come and miss it. Internet.
Well, I'm gonna upload the video for it so you could have a look at it, and I'm gonna send the answers as well so you can look through them. That's fine.
We work with that.
Alright.
Sadly.
Not the
You don't
Sunday.
need to debate more about the debate, you know.
Debate the recording. But yeah.
Just we want to add to the debate.
Alright.
We're not having any debate. We're just going through.
15 is B. And you see.
It's because all of these repeat. I don't even know.
17 sustainable.
And then the other one is political. Wait, hold on. Hinder its development.
Class stratification.
Correct. Class stratification, yes, sir.
So 18 is new. Can move on yet?
Yeah,
We never see number one and number two. Good.
tiny internet now go on good.
Oh my days.
My internet not going good?
No, Darian,
Oh, they're on.
run.
Running games did not set in the curriculum. So probably in classical.
South, the western coast of South. Yeah,
We know,
western
we
coast
know.
of South
Oh,
America.
yes, cool, yes, cool.
The western
Yes, yes.
coast of South America.
Always Edward Camus Bratworth.
Bratwaite, right? So he,
Bratwaite.
Edward Camus
Me feel
Bratwaite.
This one
hurt.
is up there, man.
You did do paper too?
It didn't look so.
Yeah, but
No, sir.
Yeah,
It looked
it's
like the
big.
first time you had to carry, but
No, it's not like that, man. As long as you know Jennifer Mohammed, that's all him need. But we have Brathwaite, right? So he was a Bayesian poet, right? That spoke about the unity of culture through hybridization, and he coined the term pluralization, right? So that's usually the thing attached to him. That's fine. So we can move on now. Alright. So let's just get to this part of the paper now. So we saw 1 and 3. Okay, when individuals from low, we saw this as well there, right? So, but this is different. So, when individuals from low income families are able to change their social status through effort and industry, they are said to enjoy
social mobility.
as they should. And this is per capita. Alright, this is the Gini index, and this is the WTO. Tell me when we can move on.
No, sir.
It's EAAT before you move on.
Repeat.
So that's I got through.
GAAP?
Yeah, got.
Yeah, it's because I don't know. Right? And me never say I don't know because I don't know. I don't know what that refers to, but it definitely didn't cross me in my syllabus. Right? Or when I was reviewing it, I didn't see that information. If it is there, I didn't see it. Right? I don't know what that is. But you know the IMF is, right? And you know what the EU is, right?
Maybe. What are those?
EU, European Union, IMF, the oh my gosh. The monetary fund, is it? I don't remember what it's the I is for.
International.
Sir,
International.
International.
Oh, okay.
What is I
I don't know. Never mind. I'm so sorry. Look here. Let me just cover my face, even though my camera not on. Which of the following represents the correct order of movement towards Caribbean regional integration?
B, sir. Federation Carifta CARICOM.
So what you have to remember is that federation always come first, and if you put federation last, just give up on the paper. Right?
You already.
You can't. Duran, please. Government was the answer here. Chances for the CSME. What was that?
Sir, D.
DU.
Increase competition from extra-regional sources.
You see, Silva issued that now.
Sir, but why asterisk, sir? All the others are positive.
Yeah, but I don't. There's something within me that says the asterisk should go there.
Okay, sir.
I don't even know what that is, but
Wait, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't
I'm
move.
gonna call it asterisk. The next question, 27, would be what?
27,
Leopold.
Leopold.
B.
They can explain 26. Por favor.
Somebody explain 26, please.
We'll see if what other answer sheet.
That is not this.
26 others being done.
Okay, so we're saying that the CSME, right, the goal is to create a single market, right? And that is promotion of movement of goods throughout the region, right? So A would have been fine, right? So the free movement of labor throughout the region, high level of political commitment from its members specifically. Some people may argue that is the challenge, right? To attain high level of political commitment. So, and then some persons are saying that the high level of political commitment would actually facilitate it, right? And then we have increased trade among member countries that would have been a benefit of the CSME. And then we have the increased competition from extra-regional sources, which probably would be a challenge to the CSME. which is D. Right? My issue, why I put the asterisk there is because I still have something within me that says D, but I'm gonna make it go on.
Sir, B, how doesn't high level of political commitment from member countries, how is that a challenge? Doesn't it promote, sir?
Isn't that a good thing, somewhat?
No, it is a. What I was saying is that it's a good thing, but attaining it was one of the very reasons why Sesame is still not implemented till this day.
But
that's
sir,
what I-
the question never asked anything about
Alright.
attainment.
The way we should just drip before I go, so the question never asked that. Alright, that's fine. Early 19th century writings from an indigenous perspective. Let me just stay with the question and we're easy. Alright, so going with that. So reject the notion of European.
Good question, don't move on.
Okay, go ahead. This should be
Why not
J.
C?
J. Why not C?
Yeah.
Because that's not the purpose. Wait, that's not the purpose of the indigenous perspective, though. It's not
What is
to
the indigenous
describe.
perspective?
So the indigenous perspective is the Caribbean intellectual tradition which describes some amount of cultural renewal, right? And retention directed against the indigenous persons within the Caribbean. So the central notions are just the central notions of the indigenous perspective, right, is deconstructing beliefs that the indigenous people didn't have a culture, deconstructing the beliefs that they didn't have a history as well, and allowing them to get reparations through social justice from Caribbean countries, and which are usually former British colonies, right, for them to retake land, to reaffirm cultural festivals, to basically once again regain cultural identity within the Caribbean and stop being referred to as a genocided group, basically, or a group that suffered genocide, right? So it's basically serving there to reject the notions made by the Europeans. All right, that would be the best thing here for that answer. Not me resetting all this information. If them ask
Thank
the
you,
electro
thank
file
you.
tomorrow, I that for me. All right, what is the answer here? 1 and 2.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
Wonderful. In its manifest, oh, saw this already. Social justice. It should be 1 and 2. Why I put the ticks on 1 alone? It's giving it incompetent. That's what it's giving. Alright. So moving on. 31. Reliability refers to, what's the answer? Some results?
Sir, A. Apple.
Yeah. Getting some results after repeating trials.
Yes, it is. Alright. The research process is systematic because it's structured so it can be replicated.
Right, sir.
What is 33 researchers interested in the consistency of their research results are concerned with?
Reliability.
Reliability. The hypothesis, it may be described as a
D.
prediction of an outcome. Wonderful. 35. Which of the following would help to ensure that research is conducted in line with the highest ethical standards?
Above.
Okay, I hear all of the above. Disclosing potential risks, that would be a part of ethical standards? Yes, it would, wouldn't it? So
Yes, sir.
any risk you would have. So that's ethical there. I remember the Dr. Goodwin thing that she was talking about, the effect that it would have on the respondents. So, and that would be ethical, so I have to remember that. Which of the following actions is not involved in identifying a research problem?
Interpreting data. Seeing, interpreting data.
Right.
Some persons may argue that C is not the answer, right? Because they have to look at literature review. But one thing that you have to realize is that the literature review is from a research that has already been done and the data has already been interpreted.
Right.
So C would still remain. Right, so the following statement was written in the research report. Teenagers who bleach their skin have low self-esteem. I have more to say about that, but it's controversial and I will not say it on recording. Right, what aspect of the research project is this likely to be?
Like,
Hypothesis.
Definitely my hypothesis.
Oh wait, yeah, record. Not gonna on YouTube.
Which of the Duran, please? Which of the following which of the following feature beg me a beginner Duran? Alright, so which of the following features is not useful when evaluating websites sources?
Sir,
length.
isn't it A?
I have A for this one.
Length. So you're saying that length is not important?
Well,
Yeah.
compared to the others, but I'm open for other answers.
Alright. So you're saying
Like,
I don't understand this question at all.
because
so
have a long website or a short website, it doesn't really matter. That's the quality of information that
the
is there.
quality of the information which website can this is way how subliminal messages. But okay. So we're saying that when we're looking for a web source for our research, right? When we go on to it, right? What doesn't really matter, right? We're looking for objectivity. We're trying to make sure that authors are not subjective with their writing, because if they're subjective, that means it can be biased. So objectivity is out because we're looking at what is not useful. Authority is important as well. Is it just a random person, right, writing it that has no qualification? Is it a doctor? Is it a reputable? This is communication studies, module 1, right? Is it a reputable source, right? So we're looking at stuff like that. So the authority would make sense. The currency. To be very honest, when I said the currency, I was like, wait, the money? But like the currency here, right? We'll be speaking about, how close is it to the date of collection? Was it 5 years? Was it posted 5 years ago? Was it posted 1 month ago? Was it posted 15 years ago? Right? We're looking at that. The currency would also dictate its validity as a source. The length doesn't really matter. Right?
That was right, sir.
Yes, you were.
Okay.
But you doubt yourself, so you're still wrong.
Alright, sir.
Final.
Right?
Confident.
So you have to be confident. You can be wrong and strong too, You see, if you're going to run for an election in the future, just be confident. Half of the people don't know what you're talking about anyways. 39, a researcher wants to conduct a qualitative research on traditional dances. Oh, we saw this already, right? So 1 and
Yes,
3.
sir. 1 and 3.
In collecting, Michelle, we did the focus group for Michelle. I
Yes,
just
sir.
remember names. For anybody who does like law papers and those type of things, it's just a bag of names, and each time you see the name, you just know the answer. Right? It's just
Yes.
something like that. You say the name and you know the answer. So we have that there. But be careful that even these are repeats, so it can be expected. But on the paper that you're going to see tomorrow that will bless you, right? Please read
Question.
everything. Go ahead.
Can you scroll up back a little bit?
Yeah, what's the question? To which question?
What is a participant observation?
Which question?
40 minutes.
40, alright.
Explain. Yeah.
Participant observation. So it's stated weird, but what it's probably hinting at is you observing the participants. Remember that observation is a type of data collection as well. So it's probably that. You're observing the behavior or of the participant or their reaction to something. You're gonna see a lot of this type of things when you guys are like psychology, which I guess a lot of persons do psychology because they think it's interesting. So
Only psychology we have up on the psychic wall.
no. But probably the course in psychology. So a really interesting course. Just say. Alright, which are the following since most of you guys are gonna become like doctors or lawyers, you're gonna have to do some amount of psychology anyways. Which of the following resources is likely to provide primary data? We're looking at the Hansard report.
Yes.
Which of the following methods is not probability sampling?
Sir,
Snowball.
snowball.
I don't mean to do anything, but what is Hansard report?
Is it Tonique? Tonique, could you go ahead? What is Hansard? What is
Sir,
Hansard?
based on what was said in previous meeting, Hansard report is where individuals are recorded while they say whatever they have to say. Something like that.
So,
I remember.
right, it's usually verbal accounts, right, or vocal accounts of different things, right, that were happening. So it's not a report as in like numbers and statistics per se, but it's like in an interview report of what's happening at the specific moment,
Yes, sir.
right? In previous papers, right, I did put television documentary, and thinking about it now, documentaries would have to be made after the fact, so it makes sense that Hansard report would be the best.
And books are susceptible to additional information. For example, like with the history books, you'd have
Mm.
a book, but you'd have other sources to back it up, so it don't necessarily is fully primary.
I'm
if
just
you
gonna argue against that, right? It's the books are susceptible to additional information, but in history books, they're susceptible to less information. Just saying, cause them put bare loophole in everything, and you don't even know half of the history. But
that is true, but
it's
in
true.
the context of this, yes.
Yeah. But those sources can be susceptible to more or less information, right? And the internet, we all know the internet, right? The issues with that. They should put ChatGPT as one of the responses as well. 43, I'm looking at Casely right now. Which of the following formats is most suitable for presenting the findings from an investigation which uses focus group discussions as a data collection method?
Text A.
Why not a line graph?
So because that the information is not quantitative.
It's qualitative. Wonderful. 44, which of the following is typically part of a conclusion of a research report?
Sir, summary of sources.
Conclusion? Summary of sources. Alright. Everybody else agrees?
Reference to hypothesis, maybe.
We don't understand.
I'm thinking between C and D.
I believe it to be C.
C would be outlining of limitations that would be in the... Isn't limitations a different section of the research other than conclusion?
Sir, limitations has its own part in the IA, so I think it
No,
is.
it was conclusions and limitation.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Sir, what is the correct answer?
Mind it.
We're not on debate. They don't hurt me.
But like the conclusion though... Alright, hold on. Typically a part of it. But typically, right, within other research projects, is the conclusion and limitation normally grouped together?
No.
Because in some of them they are, but they
No,
say
sir.
it says typically.
Exactly.
So typically it won't be grouped. So I don't think C would be the best answer. Because typically refers to typically can be replaced with generally in this case. Which
So
go ahead.
the reference the hypothesis and say if it's actually that, like you prove the hypothesis or
Yeah,
wrong
I
in
think
a
the
sense.
conclusion will contain the reference to the hypothesis. It can outline the limitations if you do a dual category like that. But anyway you take it, you have to have reference to the hypothesis whether or not limitation is there. Because I know that any science student has heard this time and time again that your conclusion is answering your hypothesis. Right? So it's a
Right.
part of the research techniques, I would believe.
Let's say A. Which one?
Oh, I would say, wait, list of appendices is out. Summary of sources per se. I don't think the summary of sources would be referring to what? The references?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And then if limitations isn't typically a part of conclusions, wouldn't they be the answer?
Yeah.
I said D.
Alright. Limitations can be a part of it, but that's in a dual category. We're just looking at typically just conclusions alone. And then whatever this is, right? So based on the data in the table, which of the following recommendations would be suitable for the researcher to give to the teacher? So
Sir,
looking at
1
the-
and
yeah.
3.
I have 1 and 2.
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, this is interesting. So referring to the following table showing the behavior patterns of 6 students during Caribbean
1
science
and 2.
class.
1 and 2. Sorry.
I
1
think
and
the
2.
usual time should be like an hour. So like conduct further research to see what else you can do before you shorten the duration of the class. Because the shorter the class, how are you going to get in all the information?
But then again, out of the 6 students, majority of them start talking in the class and walking and disrupting the class.
So try methods
So-
first
that
before you
was-
try.
But wouldn't it make sense to cut down the time of the class if
So how are
all
you
of,
gonna-
all of them start giving trouble by 8:40?
I mean, yeah, but still, how are you going to get them to get in the information in such a short class
So
time?
you're saying that if you shorten the class, you compromise the ability of the students to complete the syllabus? That's
Yeah.
all right. That makes sense.
Exactly.
And the class is already short, so
Cause this for our characters, because I would have loved this. I would have loved this.
But I must mean the lesson is already finished because it says paying attention to the lesson. The students stopped that at 8:20 and they started completing the assigned tasks at 8:30. So what
Exactly.
is they're completing the task? The lesson is done.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
8:30, even if after the whole lesson thing you believe that is too short, they still can get homework, so that going to help them in terms of the syllabus
So you're saying that
and
all of them
personal study
basically.
too.
So you're saying that all of them basically finished by 8:30.
Yes, because if you look, it said 6 students, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if 3 of them complete the assignment by 8:30, I said paying attention in the lesson, right? Not everybody, we understand that not everybody works at the same level. So even if some of them don't finish the assignment by 8:30, it's a possibility that they can get it as finish it as homework and bring it back the next morning. There is no need for them to be talking to classmates or interacting with the teacher after the lesson is done.
So
Do you do that in university, sir?
Look, don't call me out. Don't call me out. All right. Don't call me out. All right. I do that
What I'm-
sometimes, but I get what you're saying, right? But do you think we should probably confirm whether or not that is the issue before we shorten the class, or we should just shorten the class?
I don't think you have enough information to decide whether you should shorten the class time as yet.
I agree, Cleon.
So we're saying that this is quantitative, right? And we don't know the reason. Therefore, you want to do a qualitative expedition before we shorten the class.
Yeah, I would want to find out why
Why?
you need our
Okay.
first.
Sigh.
Let's say. It's a deliberation. I don't want to put an answer and then shout at y'all saying that, oh, that is the answer. Shut up. That's not how it goes. So
Mercy.
but the use of variety of teaching strategies that may be interesting. Go ahead.
Don't think shorting duration of class would be an option, because if you look like 8:40 to 8:50, a lot of them talking to them classmates and walking around disrupting.
Sir, but the classroom is not necessarily a place for socialization. It's a place for learning. So talking to your classmate do have nothing to do with learning.
Girl,
Yes,
don't
it's a
see
part of
that.
it. It's a part of it.
Don't say that.
Is it learning a part of socialization process? You have to socialize to learn.
Period.
I mean, we're
Point of views.
most of us here are in grade 13 or grade 12. So most of us would know that if you're in class, especially Caribbean studies, you learn some stuff from your classmates, and it's surprising how much you learn from your classmates just by talking,
Exactly.
because they have different cultures at home. They have different social scenarios that they go through every day. So it's not just out of the text. You learn from talking. Some of
Okay,
us
but-
more than others.
Okay, I agree with you in that. But look at the chart. It says by 8:40, call it 3 of them are talking to classmates, right? And in that same thing, walking around and disrupting the class at 8:40, the same 3 are doing it. So how is that socializing?
Wait, 4, 5, 6. So at some point at 8:50, one was talking to the teacher, 2 was talking to classmates, and 3 was talking. Yo, by 8:50 class, she said the actions are showing that class is over by 8:50.
Actions are
Oh.
showing that class is finished by 8:30.
Yeah, by 8:30.
Well,
Okay, so
what's the completing assigned task? Completing is it's ongoing. So
How is it ongoing if nobody else is completing
you know, say
the task?
completed. You know, it's completing. It's
But
ongoing.
if it
Yes,
if
but
it was duration, then the marks would still be in the boxes. There are no marks in the boxes. Therefore,
Exactly.
there are
Question.
no students still
Wait,
completing the
guys.
task.
I understand what you're saying about the completing the task thing, right? But I don't think it's necessarily. Wait, I don't think it's necessarily up to that per se because you're just looking at the students' interactions, right? So the three of them were completing the task at 8:30, and then none of them were, right? Is it because the task is completed? We don't know. This is quantitative information. We don't know if they just simply stop doing the work, right? So I think that this is a reason for us to find out why the students start doing this, and then shorten the class if needs be.
Sir, sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
quick question. Can you just tell me what your answer would be if you were doing the exam, please?
My answer would be 1 and 2.
All right, thank you so
But,
much.
but right, my answer would be 1 and 2 generally. But
Why you
I
doing-
understand why a person saying shorten duration of class, right? What I would say is that I don't know enough information, right, to just shorten the class like that, right? Because if the class is already this time, there has been careful consideration into, you know, how long the class should be. If the students are behaving like this, I would like to know why the students are behaving like this and then shorten if needs be. I wouldn't just shorten before I realize the reason why. It could be the ineffectiveness of the teacher, because some ineffective teachers have students being rowdy in the middle of class, indicating that class is done. So we have to figure out what is the issue. Is it the students? Is it the lead? Is it the teacher? Is it the lesson? Right? And if it is the length of class, then we shorten the class.
True or false?
No, that's just what I think, right? Because it's a 1 hour lecture, you know, so I get that. And I could see this playing out in my Caribbean Studies class, so I would go with this. But some person say D, so I'm going with that. Because even within my Caribbean Studies class, they have 2 hour lectures sometimes. And best believe I'll have a class gone, right, by 45 minutes. Because our brain span just So I guess that. And that could be a
So
cause for shortening the
question,
class. Go ahead.
Sir, for the whole 2 hours, is the lecturer still teaching, lecturing?
There's like a 15-minute break, but yeah.
But sir, for the duration of 2 hours, are you actively learning for the entire time?
That is impossible biologically because our brain can only hold so much in a small period of time. So you can't have it too long. So I guess why you're saying that D should be the best. Well, 3 should be included, but it's a 1 hour thing. You should be able to do it for 1 hour. But yet again, we have to figure out what is the issue before we shorten it.
Maybe we look at it too deep, you know? It's not that deep.
Yeah, and we don't get the whole of our marks on paper too, so this is not that important.
Like, assumption there, but
that you speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
I'll end the recording here and we can continue.